All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. And today, joined by the one and only Yixn, who is part of the team bringing us Splinterlands.rentals and the Rent Golem, which I have to say that I have been guilty about sleeping on for a while. My cards have just been sitting around, not earning me anything because I just never got around to it. So I'm glad I saw Gene Pool recently on the Monster Maverick show, which kind of reignited that interest for me, and then got involved and connected with Yixn here. So I've been in the space I've been using the product for a couple of days. But Yixn, I want to welcome you to the show and tell us more about yourself. Tell us about your Splinterlands journey, and definitely tell us about the Rent Golem and Splinterlands.rentals because I'm loving it so far. And we'll get into my experience later, but please go ahead and give us an introduction for yourself.
Um, hey guys, I'm Yixn. I'm the developer of Splinterlands.rentals. I've been in the Splinterlands economy for about a year now. I started with my own little bot farm that I developed just for fun for me because I like those little projects and yeah. But I stopped doing that because I saw let me rephrase. I accumulated a lot of assets over the time where I bought it, also with my own investments, and I had a lot of these sitting idle. So and one day I decided to start playing myself, actually, and that's where I met Gene Pool over at YGG, and yeah, we talked a lot about the economy and what is needed, and I wanted to do something like card pawning, where people could pawn their cards, get DC in return, and in the meantime, these cards would generate revenue by being rented out. So, and later they could come back, buy back their card, and both sides made a profit. Like they had the DC, and we made a profit by a margin that they had to pay extra, and the rent revenue from the card. Yeah, and but for that I needed a renting bot. So I started creating one, and yeah, then I started using Gene Pool's account and other accounts from our guild, and yeah, 3 months later everything blew up, and we have between 25 and 30% of the whole rental market under our management.
That's incredible, man. So this has been in the works for a couple of months now, it sounds like. You said about 3 months or so?
Less than 3 months ago, or I started less than 3 months ago with the coding. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And you're already at, you said 25 to 30% of the entire rental market. So hopefully, I don't know how much clout this channel has, but hopefully you might be able to pick up a little bit more just based off of this. Because I got to say, I've been using it for maybe 24 hours, and I put two accounts in, my main account and a secondary account that has just a few assets. And that account was supposed to be like a rental only account, right? And I went in and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to play the rental game with this, right? Where it's just whatever I earn from rentals, I'm just gonna reinvest it back into cards and compound that. Now this started before the rewards rework, and so rents were really good back then. It was easy to get cards rented, and then once the rewards rework happened about a month ago, for me it was just like, okay, like I'm going in and I'm just trying to get the bare minimum, right? I don't have the time to be going in and double checking this, and I don't even have that many cards, just a couple thousand cards in there, most of them just the rewards cards, which are going for super cheap. Now just in one day, I have already seen the amount that I get in terms of like daily DEC revenue double, right? So I came back in this morning, I checked, and I was just like, Oh, that's kind of nice. So
Yeah.
it's got me excited about the whole rental market again, even
Yeah.
though, the cards that were renting really well a couple of weeks ago aren't renting as well now.
Yeah.
So taking this back a step to go talk about what you were originally envisioning earlier, and maybe
Mhm.
we can use this as kind of like a way to talk about what you have for the future of Rent Golem or
Yeah.
Splinterlands.rentals. That card pawning idea, right? Am I saying that right?
Mhm.
Card pawning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that card pawning idea is interesting because it does allow you to benefit, right, both sides of that
Yeah.
equation, right? If people need the quick and easy transactions, but they want to come back, or quick and easy access to capital, but they want to be able to
Yeah.
come back and buy something, you have every incentive to hold that for them and then
Yeah.
earn something. So
Yeah.
is that where you are eventually trying to go? Have you hit any roadblocks with that? And maybe what are the other things you guys have in mind coming down the road or the pipeline?
Honestly, it it just got easier because people now see that we are trustworthy. Like
Hmm.
we don't want to destroy our product or have any bad reputation on it. I think if the people dig through our Discord, they see that we instantly try to resolve anything that comes up there. If it's a wrong invoice or if the bot is renting expensive cards for way too cheap, and we are always there to find a solution that fits everyone. And I think that's why it would be even easier because there is a trust barrier. They have to send us that card for less
Hmm.
than it's worth. Um, but it's still on the roadmap for us. But there are more important things right now. Like we had to do a lot of changes to the algorithm because of the rework.
Hmm.
The market got way more volatile.
Yeah.
Like we see with level one carriers, they are posted for zero point 0.1 DEC by all those people that are not actually not actively renting, managing the rentals, and they
Hmm.
always come up. But if those bot renting windows, we call them, occur, those carriers can go up to 25 DEC. And
For just a level one.
yes,
Wow.
that's like zero point 0.8 DEC per CP per DEC. But
Hmm.
these bot renting windows is what we are mainly looking for right now for those high volatility cards. So they
Hmm.
may sit idle for longer. We try to avoid that at any cost before. But right now we have those cards that we analyze and filter out with a few ways of our historical data that we
Hmm.
gathered, and post them for way higher than any human would even try. And
Yeah.
those cards normally, like let's say about 33 to 50% of them actually had hit these rent windows, and it's an I don't know, it's an X times over that what you would get if you would want to rent them out instantly all the time. But
Hmm.
we of course have those other cards that are priced normally like they were before. But yeah, the problem was more like finding those cards, and we had to put a lot of time into that. Um,
Yeah. I guess. Okay. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
it's fine. Um, then I'm working on a market for a few weeks now.
Hmm.
We let in the first people to actually test the buy side of things. We got whitelisted by Splinterlands as a market to collect the
Very
fees.
cool.
And yeah, that's on the horizon very soon. But we will definitely have a lot to do in the near future.
Cool. Can we talk a little bit more about the market? Because I know just in the
Hmm.
Discord, a lot of people are excited about that.
Yeah.
So I I'm just curious. There's several third-party markets all out there already,
Mm,
as well as the one on the Splinterland store. We don't have to talk about the third-party markets, but I'm just
yeah.
curious, what are you doing compared to what the Splinterland's actual market is like right now to make, is the UI better? How are you focusing to try to make your experience
Um,
better versus the actual Splinterland's market?
a lot of things that I code, like we have a lot of quality of life features that are free to use, like auto SPS claim for all your accounts,
Okay.
daily rerolls for your quests, like claiming and rerolling if you hit a specific splinter or something. These are all things that I wanted for myself. So
Yeah.
and since I have had the audience, I started to think like, if I need that, there may be people that need that too.
Hmm.
And I stumbled upon a lot of pain points on. Okay, let's not talk about the official Splinterlands market, because that's like, yeah, we all know it's nearly impossible to find good deals there.
Sure. Okay.
But there are also a lot of problems with the other third-party markets, especially if you are buying from a renter's perspective. Like you can't go anywhere and say like, okay, I want 400 Pelacor Bandits,
Hmm.
but I want them in singles.
Okay.
Like there are markets that
You're talking
offer
about batch
something,
purchasing, essentially?
for example, yeah.
Okay.
Or we have historical data on what cards rent for how much and how well, and
Hmm.
we aggregated these data points to have actual average yearly returns of of asset for the cards over the last 14 days
Okay.
for each specific card and level. So meaning we can show a lot of information that other markets don't,
Hmm.
to make it easier to make a good buying decision. And on top of that, I'm focusing extremely on the yeah, quality of life and usability of the interface. Like
Yeah.
you can go in and drag select cards that you want to buy, or unselect or whatever. You have way more granularity in filtering down the results you actually see. And it's still early and we are working on that, but I think especially when the market is out, people will see that we have a point why we are there.
Gotcha. Well, just from the metrics that you were talking about earlier, the audience that you have right now, or maybe not audience is the right word, but the customer base that you have right now, the
Mm,
people who are or client base, is very much interested in the whole like card lord idea, right? Of like
yeah,
acquiring assets and then renting them out and using these as, some type of digital real estate that can be income producing. So just being able to show that data, I think will make it much better of an experience from that perspective. Because
yeah.
now, again, I've only been doing it for 24 hours. Actually, I've been doing it for longer. Obviously, I was like
Mm,
buying and renting out cards on my own. But now that so much of it is automated for me, I'm like looking at the market and trying to see, all right, well, where are the good deals?
yeah,
And if you have a marketplace that can share that and really
yeah,
highlight those, that saves me more time. And then all I have to do is find ways to bring more capital in and buy
yeah,
those good deals when they
exactly.
come through. So I think that makes a lot of sense in terms
Yeah.
of where you're planning to go with the market. Any other things that are coming down the pipeline that you can share, or is it just the market that's the main focus for you right now?
It's the main focus, but we are in talks with a BattleBot service to integrate their tokenomics and settings page into our front end, so
Okay.
that we can offer people that are that still want to use their main accounts, because
Hmm.
they want to brawl, want to play tournaments or whatever, to
Hmm.
automate their gains, because it's not really feasible to rent out your main account. with the cooldowns, where if you don't know when they're gonna rent, you can't just put it on, get everything rented out, cancel, and play it 24 hours later, right?
Yeah.
Because everything takes time. So this BattleBot service is awesome. I'm using it on my main right now too.
Okay.
And I've got a maxed silver deck, quite maxed, and it's at 3,000 rating in gold right now, I think. So it's really optimized for.
So it's just fighting for you, right, throughout the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and gathering chests. Yeah, we are working on a lot more calculators. Right now we have the reward lookup because we obviously needed one. If the bot is claiming your chests, you don't know what you got, right?
Yeah.
So you got to look that up. We get a very detailed chest EV calculator with the chest EV that's calculated, and also from our historical data, because we are gathering these with the reward lookup. We got a pack value calculator to you plug in how many percent discount do you have, how many packs you want to buy, and if you want to buy it with DC, etc. And the calculator comes up with what would you lose, because or gain, but that's rare, and how much would you pay per airdrop summoner? Like if you're paying, it's calculating the actual airdrop values and boils it down to how many would I lose per full summoner on those chances. Yeah. These are, I know a lot of these tools are already out there, but when I did my numbers manually, it always was like something was missing. Like if I want to get the pack value, I still had to calculate how, like what is the voucher price, how many bonus do I get, what do I actually pay per pack, and that's all our calculator already does 100% of that. So
Gotcha. Okay.
it's like my manual calculation, including everything I needed to know, put into a calculator, also just to make my life easier.
Gotcha. You know what's funny is in startup culture they always talk about the best business ideas are where you go out and scratch your own itch, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, I need something. So if I need it, that means probably many other people will need it, and they're probably willing to pay something for a service so that they can get it, right? So it's interesting to kind of watch how this has evolved for you, where it's like you just wanted something basic for your own Splinterlegs experience, and now are you able to share how many people are using the service, or how many accounts maybe are using the service?
I don't have exact numbers, but give me a second.
Well,
so we got 286 accounts that are active in the system, main accounts or management accounts, how we call them. Nearly
which
800,
could include different sub accounts, right?
Exactly. It's 800 with these sub accounts.
Okay.
And we are managing 750,000 cards.
So this is fascinating to me now, because you have less than 1,000 accounts that you are managing cards for, and you've already taken roughly 25% of the.
It's not even less than 1,000 renting accounts. Those sub accounts also include those that people added to either use the fast sweep, which we didn't talk
okay, so it's not
yet.
even all renting.
And it's 350 active rent accounts.
Okay, 350. Wow. Yeah. Okay, and that's taking up almost 25-30% of the market. So
yeah, but we gotta differentiate here. It's 25% of the market revenue wise, not card count wise.
Sure. Okay. So you're talking about overall
it's a big
volume every
difference.
day?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha. Okay. And I would assume that
yeah.
that number is actually higher because of the fact that you guys are really efficient, right, in terms of getting the best rental prices
Yeah,
overall versus, like you said, all the Kellys that are renting out for point 0.1
yeah,
DEC right now. So
yeah,
my question for you is like, obviously you struck gold in a sense because
yeah.
there's a lot of people who really appreciate the product, myself included. So is this something that is easy to scale up? Because we talk about 100,000 accounts, 150,000 accounts right now, and granted a lot of those might be bot accounts, but what does this look like in terms of like really scaling that up? Is this something that you guys are trying to do actively, or are you worried about, or is like slow steady growth the way to go?
Um, we were able to handle the performance and scaling quite well, especially since we had days where we doubled our card amount, like or tripled it, because there was some conversation going on in math chat, and suddenly a surge of people came, or somebody with a $2 million account said, "Hmm, I'm not earning enough, and you're telling me you can do 3-4 times the returns? Yeah, let me try it."
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, the size of the number of cards even doubled in a day.
Wow.
And so far, we didn't have major problems. I did a performance update today to make those rent workers, I call them, a little bit more less resource heavy, and yeah, it is still quite scalable in the current system. But if we really have to go scale like 10, 20 times, I will have to touch a lot of places to make it possible to use to run the service on separate servers. Like we got a huge
Mhm.
one right now, and we are using it to, I don't know, perhaps 15% of the
Capacity.
performance.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
I would say 5 to 8% are the overhead anyway. So we could probably handle handle at least an 8-time growth without having any problems. And then there's still always opportunity to improve the current setup further to get in even more people.
Gotcha. Okay, well
Yeah,
that's really exciting. You guys are kind of setting. I mean, it's been just a couple months and you're already doing so much volume, so
yeah,
that must be really exciting.
yeah.
I want to touch back on something real quick because now that we've been through the rewards rework, you
Mhm.
mentioned that there was you had to go back and adjust the algorithm. And
Yeah,
I'm curious, the rewards rework is a one-off kind of event because, it's a major game update.
Mhm.
But I do think about, upcoming in the future, potentially like when the airdrop ends, maybe when Rift Watchers comes out. Land, I think, is too far away. But I'm curious to get your thoughts on like, do you look at any of these future events to say like, okay, we need to plan for this? Like there may be some major market shifts, or maybe meta shifts that will cause like a change in rental prices. You know what I'm talking about? Like as soon as Chaos Legion came out, the rental market shifted, and
yeah.
then obviously the rewards rework happened, but the rewards rework hopefully shouldn't happen again, right? There'll just be mini tweaks as we go along. But how are you thinking
Uh,
about the future in terms of changes? Is there anything that
I
scares you, or is it is it all like easy stuff? It's just a matter of going in and doing.
Mostly, yeah, because we have to see what the market is like. Then it doesn't make a lot of sense to make predictions and make changes to the algorithm without knowing what the actual market will be then.
Mhm.
Um, but I guess I think that there will be a shift very soon if season-long rentals come out.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, that's another one. Sorry, totally forgot about that.
because yeah, those bots would definitely they could save up a lot of currency on those season-long rentals if
Yeah.
people keep doing those. Just load the lowest rental price in and boom, have fun. So we will see. As soon as we get there, we will analyze the
Yeah.
market and see what we can do. Because after the reward rework, we didn't really change the algorithm. We extended it, like the historical data analysis, like what did it rent for in the last 24 hours that we know. Give me an average of the top 25% of that to just put these cards into categories. So it's always more like a reaction than preparation thing.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, I know it's difficult to prepare for it because you don't know how the market is going to react.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, it sounds like the rewards rework was probably a big one. And to be fair, to your point, the season one should be interesting as well because that's going to change just even the structural nature of renting too.
Yeah.
So that should be a fun one to watch. But we don't have any more information on that.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about a couple of the. I guess let's go to costs is what we'll put it, because I think there's two costs that people should be aware of. One is the actual cost of your service, how you guys make money, and then two is the cost of resource credits, because it is somewhat resource credits intensive. And so we can start with the cost first. I believe it's a 20% rental fee or rental management fee that you charge, right?
Exactly. We take 20% of all profits. After we calculate your profit with what you actually got. So like the 5% fee is already deducted removed from that, and from those 95%, we take 20% as our cut. We had a lot of people complain about the high fees, but I haven't read from anyone that he's making less after he's using it, even after subtracting, removing the fees. The best example is we started with the YGG DAO. We are managing their rentals now, and they made about 11,000 DEC, I think, before. And the account, even though a few rare cards were added, is sitting at 100K DEC per day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so the fee might look steep, but if you're not really actively managing your account and know what you're doing, you're very likely to come out ahead even afterwards. Like we had huge accounts that doubled, tripled, or 4 times their revenue, and those 20% don't even, you don't mind them.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting because 20%, when I first heard that too, that made me think twice, right? And I think it's fair. Nobody likes to pay fees, right? But when I look at just what you've done already in that alt account from the rental account, you're talking about 11x's on or 10x's on other sides. For me, even just a 2x, right? For no work that I had to do to get a 2x means that you're taking 20% out of stuff that I wouldn't have been getting, right? So like sitting here on the other side with a very minimal gain versus many other accounts, it sounds like other accounts get 3, 4, 5, 10x. I'm sitting here and I'm just like, okay, even a 2x gain is allowing me to, one, be completely hands off, which is exactly what I wanted, and then two, get actual return in there. So ultimately, everybody's going to have to make their own decision on how much of a fee they want, how hands-on they want to be. But what's been interesting is that, sure, 20% in a vacuum sounds high, but the results that you guys have seem to speak for themselves. There hasn't been an issue where people, and here's the thing, if people have an issue, they can just stop, right? There's no, you guys don't have any contracts or anything. So if they want to manage it themselves, but like I said, I'm 24 hours in and I'm really enjoying it so far because, I'm now I'm all about the card lower game. I get it. Now the other side is the resource credits, because many people, and especially a lot of newer players to the game, they don't even fully understand how to top up Hive or how to stake for HP. So from that perspective, I'm curious, and it's okay if you guys haven't even thought about this, but in the future, or now or in the future, are there any ways to make it more efficient? Because for example, in my account, like on my main account, I've
Mm.
never gone below. I have enough HP that I've never gone below like 90%. Like I really need to
Uh,
try and do a lot of things to go below
Yeah, I know.
90%. And then I logged in this morning and I was like, oh, 75%. And I was like, oh, it's good. The rent golem's working, right? He's
Yeah,
the rent golem's doing his job. So
yeah,
it made me happy in that sense, but it made me realize that there's a lot of usage there, and I'm just curious
yeah.
how you're thinking about that, and if there's any way to not now necessarily, but in the future, make it
Yeah.
more efficient.
I'm working on that like every day. Because before the reward rework, it was quite easy. Like hit the right price, it gets rented out, and that card won't cost any RC for the next 24 hours.
Hmm.
But with those bot renting windows, we don't want the cards to stay there. Like we want to gradually lower the price so that it eventually, perhaps at the middle, gets rented or gets rented out eventually. Like
Hmm.
because if there's no rent window happening, or if there's just not enough buying power in that rent window, that card wouldn't get rented out. So we're trying to hit a spot where we make the best revenue possible with the least risk
Hmm.
of the card going unrented, and that takes a lot of resource credits. So it's always dependent on the yeah on the market, and especially the card selection. If you have a lot of good renting cards that are gone fast, you will need I don't know, a tenth of the HP somebody with just level 1 summoners has.
Hmm.
So it's hard to really find a solution for everyone, but I'm always looking for ways to lower these needed HP, even though we thought about leasing out HP for users that don't have the money, or don't want to invest in that. But
Hmm.
the overall consensus on the server was that they wouldn't use it, because probably they already got it themselves because they
Yeah.
needed it. And so we did not go any further into that direction. There's also D-lease where you can already lease it,
Okay.
but we thought of a way of automatically integrating it into the
Hmm.
system, where you would allow, like I would lease up to 300 HP, and
Hmm.
the bot leases it from time to time when it needs it.
Yeah. You know
But
what's interesting is so this is before I even started with Rent Golem, but just
mm,
with that rental account, I didn't have as much HP. It wasn't my main account, but I almost looked at it as a cost of doing business, right?
mm,
So
mm,
whatever my revenues were from my daily rentals, I was like allocating a small portion of that to buying more HP or
yeah,
buying more Hive to stake and power up, because the idea is, right, you want to be you want to be what's the word I'm looking for, like building it sustainably in the long
yeah,
run, right? And so therefore you're kind of building out that infrastructure for yourself. So that would be my advice, and that's kind of what I'm doing for anybody who's out there worried about resource crisis. Is start with wherever you're at, but early on don't take profits. Like put that profits, reinvest it back into your business. Part of that should be in cards, but part of that should also
yeah.
be in leveling up your HP so that you can handle more on the back end. So I'm curious now. We're gonna get we'll move away from the rent golem for a little bit, but you're
Okay.
obviously you're obviously very invested in Splinterlands. Not
Yeah,
from a not maybe not from a financial perspective, but you're building out a third party tool that
yeah.
a lot of people are really enjoying. So my question for you is: are you playing any other move to earn games, or not move to earn, play to earn games? Maybe move to earn games. And when you look around the space, uh, is there anything else that kind of matches what Splinterlands is doing in terms of economy and complexity and all this, or is Splinterlands like the one that you're like, I'm going to invest my time in, because clearly that's what you've been doing.
Yeah. Right now it's only Splinterlands. I look from time to time. I tried Pegasus when it was hyped, and a few others, but I don't know. Most of these games aren't really sustainable over a long term, and I had to fall for the trap a few times now to see the red flags that you knew before, but yeah, you just ignore it because the games look so juicy.
Yeah.
And so right now I'm just focused on Splinterlands, especially because when I don't have a lot of time. I have my normal 8-hour workday, and on top of that I have Splinterlands.rentals. So yeah, it's a lot of work anyway, and I don't really have the time right now to look into any other directions.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, it's more so, everybody kind of has their own experience, like looking at these other projects. And I'm not saying this to like put Splinterlands on a pedestal. That wasn't my goal. It's just, it's funny because a lot of people have that same experience where they do a look around the space, and then they either find Splinterlands or they come back to Splinterlands because they're just like, well, this is a legitimate game with a legitimate economy. And sure, there's some issues that the team's working through, but I find myself in the same position where I'm actively trying to look at other games, but Splinterlands to the point of like Rent Golem, for example, right? Rent Golem and all these other third-party apps. There's no other game out there that is, one, as successful, but two, is building out these kind of very robust third-party tools to make the user experience better, right? So for every Peak Monsters and Monster Market and Splinter Cards and Rent Golem, Splinterlands.rentals, like for all these, it's adding to the player experience. And yeah, I don't know, it just takes me back to what they're building here as something really special.
Yeah, I'm extremely bullish.
So speaking of which, and we can go ahead and maybe wrap up with this, and then anything else that you want to share about Splinterlands.rentals and Rent Golem. But what are you excited about for the future of Splinterlands? Is there something that maybe has piqued your interest, or something that you're looking forward to? And it could just be Rent Golem. And so how are you looking at this project within the context of the broader Splinterlands space?
I'm really excited for land and nodes. Obviously, as a developer, nodes struck me from the first second. And we will definitely be offering a node service, and whatever we can automate on land.
Okay.
So wherever we can make life easier for myself and everybody that wants to use our services, we will probably be there. And if we didn't think about it, come to our Discord and talk to us. We always have a open ear for quality of life improvements and what people need.
I have to say the Discord is very active.
Yeah,
it's very active, and there's a lot of the discussion there. I've been trying to keep up. Again, it's just like 24 hours for me, but I've been trying to keep up because a lot of it, what I like about it, and this is not to trash like other Discords, but it's just everything in there is like, hey, here's an idea of how we can make the game and experience better, right? And then people kind of talk through that. So it's a very constructive dialogue, and I've enjoyed kind of just reading along. I haven't really participated yet, but that's something that I've noticed. So even if you guys aren't interested in the bot service, I would highly recommend checking out the Discord, just because if you're interested in the future health of the game and how things can come and improve your experience with it, I think there's a lot of really great ideas, a lot of really smart people in there who are sharing these ideas. And then hopefully Yixn and Genepool working to make them a reality for us. If I can just take a moment, when you say a node service, is this going to be what they're talking about previously, where it's like a delegation service where you will run the node and people will delegate to you?
Yeah, exactly. Whatever is possible with the system they come up with. But yeah, it's probably a delegation to us. We run the node or nodes, we don't know yet, and we will pay out the SPS and vouchers we gain after a fee. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
It will
So
probably just be relatively low, and it's probably cheaper than running your own one.
interesting. So this is going to be interesting for me, and I would love to chat with you again once we get
Yeah,
around to that, because I'm one of those people who bought a node because one, I FOMO'd probably into getting one, but
yeah,
second, I want to support the system. The thing is, I'm not very technical, and I don't know that I want
yeah,
to actually do the technical side of running one. So I'm hopeful that by the time they are up and running, there would be services like the one that you're
yeah,
talking about where it would be delegation. So that's really exciting to me.
yeah. I can't
Uh,
wait.
Yeah, no, there's so land nodes. It sounds like what you're excited about. Anything else?
Um, yeah, our market going live finally.
Mark.
Like I said, I put a lot of work into that, and the people that tried it really love it, especially because it's, like I said, it's the ease of use that
Hmm.
that the people see and love. It's the small things, like you can add as many market accounts as you want and can just change them in your cart without reloading the page or anything. Like you put a lot of cards into your cart, and then you see, oh shit, it was the wrong account.
Hmm.
On other pages, you either have to change the account or even log out and log in. On ours, you can just go choose a drop down or add a new one, and after that's done, and you can just buy that with the different account.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
that's that's gonna be really exciting, man. So it sounds like it's in closed beta right now, or at least some people are testing it out.
yeah.
Are you able to share a potential ETA or release date or tentative release date?
It's hard to say. Right now, there weren't that many bugs to be clear, but
Hmm.
we also need to kind of build the ecosystem around it. Like we still
Okay.
don't have the collection page. We definitely want a bulk combine where you have way more options, and that you can after or in the checkout step, that you're able to like tick, I want to combine these cards after the transaction went through. So that the bulk combine opens with the cards you just bought, so that you can instantly combine them. And
Gotcha.
we already have a system where it checks what cards you didn't get in the transaction because they were sold or whatever.
Hmm.
And you will be able to just click the notification, open the bulk buy, and be able to buy those missing cards that you initially wanted. It's not like go to your collection page, wait for the transaction to go through, reload, and see that you're missing that one BCX
Yeah, that
to
always
get it
happens.
to level 5. And then you
Yeah.
have to go back to the market, search for it, and buy it, go back, wait. We want to make that process way more seamless and
Hmm.
way easier for the user. So there's a lot to improve, and I'm really excited to yeah, to
Cool.
use it myself.
Well, like I said, you scratch your own itch, and I'm sure many people are
Yeah.
going to come in and pay you to scratch theirs. That sounds weird when I say it out loud, but you know what I'm getting at. Well,
Yeah.
Yixn, this was awesome, man. I really appreciate you taking the time. I am very excited about this, and I'm happy to shout it from the rooftops, because for me, anything that can make my life easier when it comes
Yeah.
to managing certain aspects of the game, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So appreciate it,
Yeah.
and
Thank you.
yeah, hopefully we'll stay in touch, and we can chat
Yeah.
soon whenever you guys do have the market out or anything in the future. If you guys want to come over and chat about it, I'm always here.
Thank you for having me.
Yep.